Hello guys, another day, another episode of Theory Crafting for Mercenaries. So we're getting closer and closer to the release date and I can't wait. This is a third episode of the Theory Crafting. So if you haven't seen the last two episodes, they are on our channel. And there's also 6 episodes where I'm going through all of the collectible mercenaries and I'm grading them and giving my opinion on which ones I think are going to be good and which ones are going to be not so good. So far, all of them seem fairly balanced. Some of them just strike me as not very good, but yeah, we will see how it's going to be in practice. And today, we are bringing, I am bringing you another one of my theory crafts, and this time we're going tall, very tall. Skyscraper tall. We have a king of beasts, king of lizards, and a support for them. So let's start with the king of beasts, which is King Mukla. So King Mukla is an amazing beast protector, and he's here for his ability that gives one of your beasts 15 attack and immune while attacking this turn. So beside that, he gives some bananas to your board, so radioactive bananas to make sure that they give more attack, because we want to be making one tall boy and get that tall boy to smack down your opponent until there's nothing left. Yeah, King Mukla is he has a taunt ability that gives him some bananas. He has his basic attack that splits some bananas on your board, and we have radioactive bananas to make sure that those bananas actually give more attack. So each banana gives +2/+1 rather than +1/+1. And radioactive banana goes up 1, so it's going to be +3/+1. So we're going to be getting 3 attack per banana eaten, which is an amazing thing against melee or in melee composition. So either way, this is the support we're going to be using here. And the biggest boy that's going to be used to wipe our opponents is King Krush. So we have literally King Kong and Godzilla in here. King Krush has this amazing attack. His basic attack is 9 speed, attack a random enemy, and if it on the death blow, it attacks again. So you want to make him as big as possible, getting that 15 attack from King Mukla and getting 8 attack from the Flaming Claws. You use Terrify once or twice to get additional 10 attack, and he becomes 30 odd attack, and suddenly he can start wiping the opponent's board very, very quickly. With the immunity, he doesn't take any damage back, and at the point where he already has a lot of attack, you're essentially using the attack that just keeps on attacking for the turns that you can give him immunity. If he doesn't have immunity, you use Terrify to give him more attack and keep on building that attack. Surprisingly, we're mostly going to have like 2, maybe 3 beasts, depending on what we're going to try and put up, because we have 2 different strategies here that we can use, and that depends on how we are feeling. Yeah, depending on what we are feeling, we're going to be looking at different strategies. One of them is going to be spawning a bit more beasts. One of them is just going to be spawning 1 beast. So let's start with the one that's going to be spawning just 1 beast. And that is Lady Anacondra. So as much as I'm not a big fan of hers, the reason why she's here is for the Mend Beast, which heals a beast and gives it max health. So it gives either King Mukla or King Krush, depending which one is being hit more, that additional survivability, that additional defense, and makes it generally more difficult to deal with them. And even if King Krush is not getting Mukla's immunity, mostly in PvE, Anacondra is going to be absolutely amazing, because you can use that ability to... because in PvE, they're rarely going to be going for one target that well, from what I've seen. So it's better to just heal your King Krush and just keep on getting attack. She can summon the Viper, which always has attack equal to its health, so if we have nothing else to heal, we heal that Viper. I don't think we're ever going to summon more than one of them, unless they have a really high health total to start with, because it's hard to split Lady Anacondra's attention between 2 different targets to keep on buffing health. And this Vipers will keep on getting damage. It doesn't change the fact that equipment I chose for this is increasing the max health of Nightmare Viper, because it essentially is plus X to the Nightmare Vipers, which is good enough for me. And now we go into a back row, although in this version we don't have a very set front row and back row, and I'm going to be talking about that at the end. So next one we have Xyrella. If we are seeing opponent is mostly on protectors, or generally we have a feel in PvE if we see that they're on melee attacks. In PvP, if we have a feeling that their composition seems melee, we can bring Xyrella over Lady Anacondra, reducing that attack and making it easier for King Krush and King Mukla to attack melee characters. Or if they just have one melee character and one of the characters dies, hopefully not King Krush or King Mukla, so that third character, hopefully when it's going to die, you can bring in Xyrella and reduce the attack of your opponents that is on the melee attack. She has some heal as well, so again, if Anacondra is going to go away, Xyrella is going to come in and be quite handy. And because I forgot to bring her up. So yeah, the Radiant Wand, just to make sure that we can reduce the attack even further. I think in PvP is going to be a good choice against certain builds. The question is, will you know what you're fighting against? Answer is no. So you need to be adaptable, and you need to have that gut feeling on what might be useful and what might not be useful. And for the final 2 characters on the final stretch, we have, to the surprise of no one, we have Tyrion Fordring, because again the build is dependent on one character. I think I underestimated how powerful Tyrion actually is. Giving that divine shield, giving that value, Tyrion is proving himself. Every time he's introduced to any game mode, he's just ridiculously good. Early on in actual Hearthstone, the Tyrion in Paladin was main reason why they were winning games. In Battlegrounds, Tyrion was ridiculous as a hero, and in here it seems like Tyrion is going to be again ridiculous. So we are going with the King's Helm. So Blessing of Kings is also going to be boosting Tyrion. This Blessing of Kings can be used on the Viper if Anacondra survived or Viper survived. It can be used on King Krush. If you give him immune, he's not going to be taking any damage either way, so Bubble is not going to be popped, and then King Krush is going to be defended. You can use it on himself to give that +12/+12. You can use it on King Mukla when he taunts. There's a lot of things you can do with this, and of course he always is going to be getting the stats. He's not as important to have here, so I don't think that he needs to be starting with the Divine Shield in here. Although I would like to see a payoff for the Divine Shield, but I think at the moment we have like 2 characters that can have Divine Shield, so hopefully we're not getting to get an actual Divine Shield build. And the last character is Rexxar. So Rexxar actually is here to be interchanged with Lady Anacondra when you feel like it, mostly for PvE, because there are going to be fights where Anacondra is better and there are fights where Rexxar is better. The equipment I went for is Mama Bear's Claws. So whenever you summon a beast, which we have on King Krush, Lady Anacondra and Rexxar himself, you give it +4/+4. It is a small stat buff, but Rexxar can summon a companion. So if I'm right, he can summon Leok, which is going to give a party-wide buff for the attack. He can summon Misha, which is going to be a taunt, or he can summon Huffer, which is going to be Rush. If that is true, then Mama Bear Claws are absolutely amazing. Being able to summon Leok at speed 4 and then go into the attack with the Terrify or with the main attack with King Krush is just going to be amazing. In the worst case, King Krush also can summon Devil Souls, which have Rush, so they will attack something. So there's lots of summoning there, and the Mama Bear Claws increases the stats not only of the beast summoned by Rexxar, by any beast. So it depends on the personal feel, I think, here. but it's nice to have that additional payoff for beasts be able to be swapped in, because when they see Anacondra early on, they might be worried about that mend beast, because that will take a King Krush out of the range of actually being able to be taken care of, and so they might want to take Anacondra. They might want to try to concentrate on King Krush, but then that means that the rest will be able to do a lot of damage. Either way, if they're going to take either Mukla or Anacondra, can bring Rexxar to get that additional attack buff to King Krush again. King Krush will be getting a lot of attack with Terrify either way. And actually, this is also my comp for PvE, if you haven't worked out from what I was talking about. I think the same comp would work for PvE and PvP. It's very strategic. You always will start with both King Kong and Godzilla, which is my nicknames for them, and I'm going to be sticking with that. It's King Kong and Godzilla versus the world. So you'll always be starting with those two. They're the best friends. Question is what you do to support them, and any of the other 4 characters you have here are good choice. So if you're going to see that your opponent, for example, has mostly protector build, you might want to bring Xyrella. If they have a caster build, you might want to bring Anacondra or Rexxar. Rexxar has a bit higher damage output. And his beasts actually do a bit more as well. If you see that, if you feel that they might be single target in PvE, if you can see that they're going to be more single target, you can bring out Tyrion to protect your King Krush early on and give it additional buffs. There's tons of things you can do like this, and it's very versatile build. The problem is that it's always go tall on King Krush, so if they will be able to snipe your King Krush, you will find yourself in a lot of trouble. So having Anacondra up front I think is a bit better, because you have that mend beast. If they don't do an awful lot to King Krush, you're good. And not good, but you should be able to do well. If they are going to start dealing with King Krush, Anacondra is going to come in, heal him. Then when they're going to deal with Anacondra, you have Xyrella as an additional heal, or Tyrion with the Divine Shield. If they're mostly melee, King Mukla should be able to taunt. But there's tons of covering up for King Krush, and this build is solely about King Krush. So hopefully they won't be able to wipe it. Also, there was a different equipment I was thinking about for King Krush, which was Flaming Claws, not Flaming Claws, the one that increases the attack gain from Terrify. And that's, I was thinking about that, but you would need to be using Terrify 3 times to make a higher stat gain than Flaming Claws. And I decided that might not always be the case. Sometimes it might, but I don't want to put myself in a situation where, for example, I can't summon a Devil Saw that I would want to summon for one reason or another, because maybe my opponent has tokens and I want to counter tokens with my own tokens. So I want to have that option of having Devil Saw and the Viper on, and only then using Terrify, and then I will be all ready for the immunity attack with King Mukla on the King Krush. So this is the type of situations I'm looking at. That's why I decided Flaming Claws is going to be better than the Terrify. But let me know, guys, what do you think about this composition? Let me know how would you build the beast, because I'm actually quite curious. Because beasts per se, you have two really good beasts that work together, and then you have support around them. I was thinking about Cornelius as well, to protect King Krush with the Blessing of Sacrifice. There was tons of things I was thinking about. This is where I ended up. I'm curious, how would you guys do this? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It helps the algorithm. We're trying to build up to 1,500 subscribers. Hopefully by the end of the year, which hope you guys can help us. And I'm really excited for Mercenaries. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see me opening all of the packs that I got already. I'm going to be streaming live as soon as the game goes live on European servers, which should be 6 PM British summertime on Tuesday, 12th of October. It's like a D-Day. I can't wait for this. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.